The year was 1995, and Transformers was at a turning point. Transformers Generation 2 had failed to breathe new life into the franchise, and Hasbro knew a drastic reinvention was required if they wanted to avoid retiring the robots in disguise entirely. A few years earlier, in 1991, Hasbro had acquired the toy company Kenner, responsible for such mega hits in the 70s and 80s as the original Star Wars toy line and DC's Superpowers collection. And it was to this subdivision that Transformers was handed to be hopefully revitalized with new ideas for 1996. These are the basics on the new era of Transformers that they ushered in, the Beast Era. The Beast Era is how we collectively refer to the two Transformers series that ran from 1996 to 2001, Beast Wars and Beast Machines. The big change that Beast Wars ushered in? Like the name suggests, all the figures turned into animals. Now, animal alternate modes weren't an inherently new idea, of course, but rather than the mechanical beasts of Generation 1, the Beast Warriors transformed into organic-looking ones, bringing a whole new aesthetic to the franchise. From ball-joint construction that made the figures significantly more articulated than their forebears, to unique individual action features, to integrated weaponry that's stored away in Beast Mode, the series featured many new innovations as standard. It also instituted a new sense of order. While past Transformers toy assortments had never adhered to any set sizes, Beast Wars introduced the system of ascending size classes, basic, deluxe, mega, ultra, etc., that's still used today. Further distinguishing Beast Wars as a clean break from what had come before, the competing factions were not the Autobots and Decepticons, but the heroic Maximals, largely comprising mammals, birds, and marine life, led by Optimus Primal, and Megatron's Predacons, who took their name from the animal-themed Decepticon team from Generation 1, and consisted of reptiles, insects, and arachnids. The original intent for the line, as laid out in a mini-comic included with the first Optimus and Megatron toys, and reflected in the character bios of the first-year toys, was that the Beast Wars would be waged on modern-day Earth, with Optimus and Megatron being the same characters as in Generation 1. But that soon changed with the advent of the Beast Wars animated series. Produced in Canada by Mainframe Entertainment, creators of Reboot, the world's first half-hour CGI cartoon, the Beast Wars animated series ignored the toy line's setup and instead presented the Maximals and Predacons as the descendants of the Autobots and Decepticons from 300 years in the future, who became stranded via time travel on prehistoric Earth. The planet proved rich in energon, the Transformers' primary fuel source. So rich, in fact, that its radiation threatened to overload the Maximals and Predacons' systems, forcing them to adopt alternate modes based on the local animals that shielded their robotic bodies with organic skins. Now, when it launched, Beast Wars was not warmly received by Transformers fans. Such a radical departure from everything they knew caused consternation, leading to infamous anti-Beast pro-vehicle rallying cries like "Truck, not monkey." But the Beast Wars cartoon would change all that. CGI made the notion of including the entire cast of the toy line an impossibly expensive prospect, so the series instead starred only small 5-man teams on each side, adding a handful of additional characters as it progressed. This tighter focus led to more layered characterization that, added to serialized plotting with complex story arcs and subplots, was unlike anything fans had seen from Transformers on American television before. As key elements of Transformers lore like protoforms and sparks were introduced for the first time, and the series grew to build a deep connection with what had come before it, referencing both the Generation 1 cartoon and the Marvel comic, and featuring guest appearances by several Generation 1 characters, fandom was quickly won over. Reflecting the cartoon's success, the toy line discarded its original present-day scenario and adjusted to reflect the show's setting. But of course, soon the cartoon was changing to accommodate the new additions to the toy line. 1998 brought Fusors, toys with beast modes that were a hybrid of two animals, and Transmetals, which inverted the toy's defining aesthetic to organically styled robots that transformed into mechanical animals with vacuum metallized chrome and tertiary transport modes. In 1999, these evolved into Transmetals 2, toys that blended organic and robotic aesthetics to monstrous effect in both modes. This steady merging of the organic and the technological was taken to its ultimate extreme in Beast Wars' controversial sequel series, Beast Machines. It ran from 1999 to 2000 and returned the action to a Cybertron successfully conquered by Megatron and his Viacon army. Upgraded by the Oracle supercomputer to become truly techno-organic, metal and flesh merged at the cellular level, the Maximals were charged with restoring an organic balance to the metal world. Exploring the spiritual side of transformation, the left-field approach of the series led to the introduction of previously unthinkable concepts like Transformers who could turn into plants, or wholly organic Transformers who had no robot modes, but changed from beast to beast. Unfortunately, Beast Machines didn't find the success its predecessor had. Its reinterpretation of many of the now-beloved characters' personalities sat ill with many fans, as did its overarching organic versus technological theme. Ambitious and intelligent, hindsight has led it to be re-evaluated more favourably today, but it still remains a divisive series. And back in the day, with sales falling off, that was enough to see the last batch of toys either cancelled or shuffled into the next toy line, and plans for a third series named Trans-Tech to be shelved, bringing the era of the Beasts to an end in 2001. But the story doesn't end there. Just as there had been exclusive toys and cartoons made in Japan during Generation 1, so too did the same apply to the Beast era, with new material being created as a means of filling for time until more episodes of the American shows were available to import. These Japanese exclusive series charted the adventures of different Maximal and Predacon teams in the far future. 1998's Beast Wars 2nd pitted Lio Convoy's Maximals against Galvatron's Predacons on post-apocalyptic Earth, while 1999's Beast Wars Neo followed Big Convoy's Maximal unit as they raced across space against Magmatron's Predacons to recover the scattered life force of Unicron. These were followed in the year 2000 by Car Robots, a show that was vague on its relation to the rest of the Beast era timeline, which brought Gigatron's Predacons into conflict with Fire Convoy's Autobots on present-day Earth. After Beast Machines, it would become the only one of the three to be dubbed into English as Robots in Disguise. Unlike Generation 1, which had both a cartoon and a comic telling different versions of its story, the cartoons were the only major piece of media for the Beast era. The only contemporary comics were exclusives made by 3H Productions for BotCon, the official Transformers convention, and they all took place within the cartoon's continuity, occurring during its events and briefly continuing the story after Beast Machines as part of a tie-in with the 2003 Transformers Universe toy line. This set the trend for future media. The 21st century has seen several new Beast era stories from both IDW publishing and Fun publications, prequels, sequels, and side stories in the form of comics, prose, and even animation, but they almost all also spin off from the cartoon's events, albeit in different contradictory ways. The only significant Beast era fiction to not be set in the cartoon timeline is Fun Publications' Beast Wars Uprising, a Hunger Games-inspired saga set on Cybertron, told through the Transformers Collectors Club between 2014 and 2016. We'll be taking a closer look at the basics on that universe in an upcoming episode very soon. And that brings us to today, a point in time from which the Beast era is looked back on with great regard. It's no exaggeration at all to say that with its willingness to throw out the rulebook, it saved Transformers from being lost to pop culture irrelevance. In particular, the Beast Wars cartoon's strong writing has outshone its dated computer animation to ensure it's remembered as one of the best, most loved Transformers cartoons of all time, with a far-reaching legacy. Many of its cast have been immortalized with new toys as part of the Transformers Universe, Generations, and Masterpiece toy lines, and two of its most popular breakout characters, the honor-bound Predacon-turned-Maximal Dinobot and the luckless Waspinator, were the first entrants voted by fans into the Transformers Hall of Fame. In 2017, fans even chose Optimus Primal as the winner of an official poll that determined he'd receive a new toy as part of the Power of the Primes toy line. The cast have also appeared in other continuities, reimagined as contemporaries of the classic characters instead of future descendants, showing up both on television in Transformers Animated and in comic form in IDW Publishing's Generation 1 comic books and in the Japanese Transformers Legends manga, a comedy that reimagines them as salespeople at rival offices. Optimus Primal's impending Power of the Primes appearance seems to ensure he'll also be turning up not just in IDW, but in the upcoming Power of the Primes cartoon, with actor Ron Perlman having already been announced as providing his voice. Though organic beasts don't seem to fit into Hasbro's vision for Transformers in 2018 like they did in 1996, it's clear love for the Beast era is still as alive among fans and creators as ever. As Cheetor once said,
Beast or bot, we're still the baddest! Yeah!
And those are the basics on the Beast era. Thanks to everyone for an incredible 10,000 subscribers. I'm really glad you're all enjoying the show. You can follow me on Twitter to learn about future episodes like the Beast Wars Uprising episode that's coming soon, and don't forget to share the show with your friends who want to learn more about the world of the Transformers.